to The Wedding Buzz. It's your host, Sydney, and today I'm so excited to introduce my guest, Jenna. She is the Director of Catering and Events at the Waterstone Resort and Marina in Boca Raton. Welcome to The Wedding Buzz.
Thank you so much for having me, Sydney. It's a pleasure. I'm very excited to be here.
I'm excited as well, and we've been chatting through almost booking a wedding together.
Good story.
And then it didn't work out. So anyway, I'm excited to finally meet you in person. So tell me about yourself. How did you get into the hospitality world?
Kind of by chance in a way, actually. About 10 years ago, I went into hospitality. The 8 years prior, I actually was in events and I worked for the PGA of America. And I traveled around the country and internationally doing all of their events, including on-site activations with food and beverage, hotels, transportation. And then one day I knew that I kind of hit that glass ceiling of what am I going to do next? Mm-hmm. And a position I saw at the Boca Raton Resort and Marina, which at that point was run by Waldorf Astoria. And they took a chance on me, and then I went into the hotel side of things.
Gotcha. I mean, your experience before, though, that's still, in my eyes, I consider that hospitality.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was on the other side, though, than the actual, let's say, the hotel hospitality side, more of the client side and all of that. But now, the last 10 years or so, not quite 10 years of my career, has been on pretty much the hotel side and dealing with all kinds of clients, from corporate clients to brides to just clients that are hosting any kind of social function. So I've done everything from social to weddings to room blocks and things like that involved in hotel and hospitality.
Gotcha. Very cool. So I was going to ask how long you've been at the Waterstone, but it sounds like about
a year now I've been there at that property.
Oh, really? Where were you before?
Before I was at the Boca Raton Resort and Club.
Oh, okay.
And then when everyone got furloughed during COVID, hospitality industry shut down.
Yeah.
I kind of detoured into the mortgage industry for a few years.
Oh, okay.
Kind of, reset myself. And then I was like, I think I want to go back into hospitality. I got a little bored. I wanted a little bit more spice in my life, and spicy in the wedding world.
I left the wedding world for a little bit too. And then I was like, I'm going to go back.
Yeah. So my general manager who brought me over was a contact I knew. He was the director of food and beverage at my old property. So kind of all the pieces came together, and here I am.
Awesome. So the Waterstone it's right near the Boca Inlet, right?
It is. We are actually right on Lake Boca.
Okay.
So if you go outside, once you enter the property, we have one of our restaurants outside with a pool as well. And the pool overlooks kind of going into the intercoastal. And then if you go to the west side of the building, you have a large outdoor area that overlooks Lake Boca, where that big bash is every year. And it's an absolute stunning view.
Yeah.
And we do events out there all the time, and people absolutely love it. It's really just the hidden gem of Boca, I call it, for that view. You don't have any kind of property in this area that's out on the water and that's actually open to the general public.
Gotcha. Very cool. Is it related to the Boca Hotel at all, or is it completely separate?
Completely separate.
Completely separate. Gotcha. But it's nearby.
Yeah, you can actually see from outside. You can see the old Pink Hotel.
The old Pink Hotel.
You can see it. It's directly across the way, and we know a lot of people there, and vice versa, and we always help each other out if there's situation with rooms and things, and sharing business and going back and forth. So they're a great partner of ours.
Awesome. So you kind of touched on your spaces, but tell me, where do people on the property normally have their ceremony? Is it outside? Is it inside?
So typically, if people are hosting their ceremony at the property, weather permitting, of course, they typically do it outside on the point in the pavers, which is the area overlooking Lake Boca.
Okay.
And we can go up to about 200 people in for a ceremony outside. People will like to do it out there, typically tend to stay outside and also do their cocktail reception.
Okay.
And then they'll move upstairs to it's our Atlantic ballroom. It's our larger space. And that room is stunning as well, as it's overlooking Lake Boca and the intercoastal.
Yeah, that room is
You have those floor-to-ceiling windows on the east and the west sides of the room. So it's just, breathtaking.
Yeah, if you guys listening haven't heard of the Waterstone before, they have in this room, like she said, floor-to-ceiling windows that overlook both sides. So you get the is it the ocean? Or
Yeah, so you have the ocean. So if you're walking into the room on your right side, which would be the east side, you're going to have your ocean. You also see the bridge. There's going to be that bridge there that kind of connects Deerfield Beach and Boca Raton. And then on the left side, the west side, that's when you have the beautiful views of all the buildings. You also see the Boca Raton Resort and Club, or now the Boca Raton. It's been renamed. On your left-hand side, and that's overlooking their marina as well. There's a new building across the way that is all glass. That's been built on A1A there, and that's going to be on your east side, and it's beautiful too. So if you're taking pictures, it's not just buildings; it's beautiful glass in the background.
Very cool.
And as it gets dark in the evening, everything's lit up. So there's a beautiful skyline. So a lot of my events, I always recommend starting where it's daylight. You start from day to night, so you get both effects in the room when you bring everyone upstairs.
Yeah.
You see how beautiful the water is, and then you're going into dinner and dancing, and then it usually gets darker, and then you have a skyline.
Yeah, that's so cool. And I also like that, like, in the earlier part of the night, the daylight brings in, like, I mean, there's nothing for photos better than just, like, daylight. It's gorgeous.
Correct. Our photographers love it.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
And I actually had a bride just a few weeks ago that it was unfortunately raining outside. They couldn't get their photos, and they just went right up to Atlantic, and the photographer loved it because even though it was raining, you still had the natural daylight. So it was still beautiful. They can get the water behind them, and those photographers can touch up stuff and make it look brighter too.
Make it look brighter, yeah. That's awesome. So this is a fun fact that I haven't told you. My mom told me when I was just talking to my mom about like who's going to be on the podcast, and she was like, that's where I had your baptism reception, in that room. I was like, oh
my goodness.
When I was a baby, I guess.
Like 15 years ago?
No. I know. I turned 27 the other day, and I was like,
you're still a baby.
I'm still a baby.
You're a baby. Come on now. Baby.
But like basically 30.
It's okay. I'm going to be 40 next month. Can't believe I just said that.
I've heard that like 40 is like your time to shine, though.
I feel great. I don't feel 40.
Good.
I don't. I feel like I'm in my 20s for the most part.
What I've heard, which I'm hoping comes true, is that like you just stop caring the older you get about like not like about yourself, but like opinions of other people, and you just like live.
You kind of know a little bit more of like who you are, what you want to become, what you're willing to accept, what you're willing not to. Yeah. And I think it's a time too, like in your 30s, you're growing into like that more mature adult. And then your 40s is really about growing even more.
Yeah.
So
that's what I've heard, at least for like, I'm like excited to turn 30 because I'm like, I'll be out of the, well, I've heard before that like your 20s, you're like a baby adult. Like I'm a 7-year-old adult-ish. So anyway,
you're 30, you're going to love your 30s because you're already married.
Yeah. So anyway,
30s are great. You're going to grow.
We digress. But yeah, apparently, fun fact, my baptism like reception was in that room. So anyway, at the Waterstone for weddings, where do brides and grooms typically get ready?
So typically they'll rent out our presidential suite, which is on our penthouse, or it's on our 10th floor, which is the top floor for all of our rooms. And that overlooks Lake Boca, actually.
Oh, very
so
pretty.
It's stunning. And that has a large upgraded king room with an upgraded bathroom, extra large walk-in shower, kind of lover's tub, let's call it. Mm-hmm. They have a balcony in that room, and then that room connects to a large foyer area, parlor area, I should say, and has a large table that holds about 6 or 8 people. You have a desk, you have a huge pull-out couch, another television, an apartment-sized refrigerator, 2 wet bars, and then another bathroom. So most of my brides will get married in there. Not married, get ready with all of their ladies and their moms and the grandmas. I'd say typically anyone that's more than 8 takes that room. Mm-hmm. And then the groom usually does like a king suite with the guys.
Yeah.
Because that room, the guys don't need as much space. They're not getting hair and makeup. They're just usually having some drinks and listening to music and hanging out.
Their day is always more chill than the ladies. The ladies are
is like the stress.
The stress.
On time.
And the hair and makeup takes space. Like they need chairs, they need a table to put all their stuff. And then they typically like to have like a window or some sort of daylight again, to, so that you can tell what they're going to look like outside.
And then there's also 3 balconies. So you have the balcony in the king room, and then the connecting parlor area has like a double balcony.
Very nice.
So they can go outside, get some fresh air, have a mimosa while some ladies are on the inside getting ready, take their breaks. And then there's actually even another connecting room, a standard room if someone needs to go that large.
Very cool. I also think that people underestimate how much space they're going to want to get ready. Not to be stereotypical, but us ladies sometimes not only take a long time to get ready, but take a lot of space to get ready. And when you have all of the bridesmaids pile in and the moms and then the hair stylist and the makeup stylist, like us girls come with a lot of stuff. And so I love that you guys have those like connecting suites, because they more than likely will probably take up as much space as you give them. And then at the end of the night, is that typically where the bride and groom go?
Yes. Most of them will rent that out for 2 nights.
Okay.
And check in, let's say their wedding's on a Saturday, they'll check in Friday because they'll start getting ready early in the morning, and then they'll stay that night as well and then check out on Sunday.
Yeah. And what's nice is that they can I always try to tell my brides, wherever you and your new spouse are going to be staying that night, try to keep that space as clean as possible. Mm-hmm. So if there's other bedrooms, the bridesmaids can pile in over there, so that at the end of the night when they're actually married and done with it, they can go back to a nice clean room. But I love sorry, what were we going to say?
I was going to say, we also can do turn down service. So
very nice.
What we tend to do is ask if they want it, and then we'll send someone once they leave for their wedding. They can go in and clean, tidy up, so it's nice and fresh when they come back. But the great thing is typically people will close that door off to that king room, which is kind of going to be the new husband and wife's room when they come back, and no one goes in there, and then they use the other space. So.
Yeah, that is really nice. I also love the balconies. I feel like there's something so calming about being just out on the balcony, especially with the ocean view. For when you're getting ready, they can sit out there, or the next morning with your new spouse can sit out
mimosa
there.
Or someone come to your room and get a massage.
Yeah, that's so nice. So we kind of touched on it. Oh, actually, I was going to ask you, I'm assuming yes, but you guys do in-house catering?
Yes, everything is done in-house. We have our own banquet kitchen, actually, that's up on our penthouse floor, whereas that Atlantic ballroom is, plus another ballroom that we have. So everything comes out of that kitchen. We have a banquet chef and a whole team that just does banquets, that is separate from our kitchens that run the other restaurant that we have on property, and our new restaurant that's actually being renovated. That's actually going to be one kitchen downstairs. So
very nice. And then how about the wedding cake?
So we do not have a pastry chef on property.
Okay.
So we allow the bride and grooms to use any pastry place that they'd like. We do have a list of preferred vendors that I've worked with that we share with all bride and grooms, but no one is, it's not necessary to use any one of our vendors. It's just a suggestion if someone needs help with. So if there's anyone out there that wants to try to partner with us, give me a call.
I mean, partnering is, there's pros and cons to everything. There's pros and cons. I mean, I have some brides that are thrilled that it's in-house and that they don't even have to think about it. But then I have some that are upset, this standard basic cake is included in their package. And they're like, what? I want upgrades and I want this and I want that. So then it's confusing on the opposite side. So there's pros and cons to everything. But your brides get to choose whatever they want.
Whatever they want. I always say, I'll make magic happen. I said, I can customize. When people come in, they start asking all these questions and they want dollar amounts. I said, you got to just tell me what you want. I can make it happen, and then I'll give you a price for it.
Yeah. Yeah. In the wedding world, anything's possible.
Anything.
And then
within reason.
And then there's the price tag. You touched on it before, but how about photo spots? I mean, that the ballroom is gorgeous. I'm sure downstairs everything is just...
Yeah, the water is really the inlet there when you go outside, where the marina, where you have boats that can come up, again, we're a public dock. that is where a lot of the photos take place, because you get that like the inlet, the photographers just really know how to position the camera. We also have a lot of foliage and greenery around the property. We have tons of artwork around the property as well. We partner with Sponder Gallery here in Boca Raton, and they display all of their artwork around the property, and then they come to change it out from time to time. So just perhaps if someone wants a different kind of background photo, it's not just the scenery and the water and the greenery. There's a lot of art pieces that are quite unique and special to the property where they can get photos as well.
Very cool. That's a very cool touch. So what is your favorite part about the Waterstone?
The water.
The water.
The water.
Yeah, that was probably very obvious.
The water. I mean, and sometimes if you just want to, you're in your office working and you're just like, I need a minute, you just grab a cup of coffee, go outside. I'm outside all the time anyways because I have tons of sites and clients, but it's just really beautiful to go outside and to, you have that nice little breeze out there and the views. It's just, how can you not be in a happy place when you see that?
I just got so jealous of the fact that you work there. I had a venue tour in Palm Beach a few weeks ago, and just, when I was outside, it was on the ocean. I was like, wow, the ocean it's so beautiful. I'm like, I live here. I live 30 minutes from the water. I'd never go, but
isn't that how it always is?
Yeah.
When it's right in your backyard, you don't even utilize it.
You don't go. I know. But that's, a pretty obvious answer, but the water at the Waterstone.
The water at the Waterstone.
The water at the Waterstone.
On Lake Boca.
On Lake Boca. I've been to Lake Boca. My family has a boat and we go up there. It's gorgeous. It's just.
Next time, pull up on the boat and come have lunch at Sea Spray.
Okay.
We also do we have QR codes where we'll on the weekends when the boats are out there from the restaurant, they can do the jet skis and bring the food out. Yes.
No way.
Yes way.
We don't have to have soggy subs.
Nope.
Oh my gosh. Okay. This is happening. My family keeps the boat in Deerfield area. So it's a perfect.
Yeah, right. Come through that inlet right under the bridge.
Yeah. It's a perfect day trip to go hang out at Lake Boca. Which sometimes we don't even go swimming and stuff. We just go for the boat ride. So, okay, I'm going to come see you.
And you can, even if you so you want to do the QR code, or you can pull right up on the dock. If there's a slip, you just pull up and go and have brunch or lunch or happy hour.
Very cool. Okay, we're going to do it. I ask everyone that's on the podcast, do you have any wedding day horror stories?
I really don't.
It's a good thing.
I really don't. I will say I'm a planner, obviously. And I think throughout my career, in the beginning, things would happen, but you'd figure it out. But now that I'm farther along in my career, I kind of already have that backup plan in my mind where you plan for the worst and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Kind of mentality. But that's why we have backup plans, right, too. So if things happen, you're like, okay, pivot, here we go. This is what we're going to do. This is the backup plan, which is kind of what I'm doing with all my events this weekend.
It's funny. My dad has his private, stick with me for a second.
I'll stick with you.
He has his private pilot's license. So he just does it for fun, but he has a lot of pilot friends. And anyway, they were all talking last week about how there's not, what did he say? He's like, there's not, emergencies. It's just unplanned events or something like that. And basically what he was talking about is that the pilots go through such rigorous training and they have been in the plane when the instructors shut the engines off on the plane and the pilots have to figure it out and all of that during their training so that once they're actually a pilot, when those things happen, they don't panic. It's I've done it before.
Yep. They stay calm. They know how we react because you planned for this already.
Right.
And then you just make it happen.
And so that's why I was stick with me, but stick through my ADHD. But I feel it's kind of similar. It's working so many events and as the planner as well, these things are going to happen. Hopefully they won't, but it doesn't mean you freak out. It's
correct. It's how you handle it, I think, is the most important. And I think too, when you have the client, it's about just, hey, hey, sometimes you don't even have to talk to the client about the dilemma because you just deal with it behind the scenes. And there's other times where you have to go to them, let them know what's going on, but you go to them telling them that you have a plan or this is what we've pivoted, this is what we're going to do, everything's going to be great. I just need to make you aware of it and we're going to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
So if you're calm, they're usually calm. Not all the time, but
that helps. So what is one piece of advice that you want to give to brides, grooms? Can be anything. Can be wedding related, relationship, hotel.
Okay, this is a good one.
Okay.
Have an estimative number of guests that you'd like to have for your wedding before citing any place. As well as some realistic budget in your mind. And always know you're going to spend more than that. So if you want to spend $50,000, make your budget 40 because you'll end up spending 50.
That is very good advice because
there's always those things that pop up, whether it's the good or the bad, right? Like the plane's going down. Guess what? Something's going to pop up. Like, I really want these flowers and they're more money. Or I didn't think about something that we really need. Or
I fell in love with this photographer and my heart's set on it.
Exactly. I want this dress. I have to have this dress, but now it needs more alterations. And that's going to cost more. Or whatever it might be. But just, again, plan knowing that you're going to...
The other thing is like...
buying a house. You're going to spend more.
You're going to spend more. And the other thing is like, I've had brides be like, okay, we invited 100 people, but only 70 are going to come. It's like, well, if you invited 100, you need to be able to...
Pay for 100.
And we have to have the space for 100 because last minute, there's always the people that shock you with the, oh, I can't come. And there's always the people that shock you with the, yeah, I'm coming. You're like, what? Like, I never thought they were going to come. Like, if you invited them, you need to have the space. And I mean, I hate when brides go tour venues blindly and then they realize that either like they don't have the space that they need or it's so far out of budget because they went with no budget. And then they can't have the venue that they want. And it's.
I always like to start like that. Those are my questions. Like even on the phone calls is how many people approximately? Oh, I don't know. It's hard for me to show you the spaces that are going to accommodate you. And I always tell my clients too, I don't like to give black and white numbers of you have to spend X. I like to, like I said, tailor everything. I have packages where it starts per head. But that package has to work for the couple. And then I have to know, is that 40? I'm doing a lot of micro weddings. Sorry, I had to throw that in. Is it 40 people or is it 150 people? Because your space is going to be different.
Yeah.
So again, I always like to get the facts and do an actualized proposal with the cost, with any room rental fees, any add-ons that they want, tax, service charge. So they get that out the door price. It's like when you go to a car dealership, right? And you're like, I want this car and it's labeled, okay, it's $38,000. It's going to be $50,000 before you walk out the door, right? So I like to be very honest with people because most of these people have never done this before.
Yeah.
So I like to just be open, share with them my knowledge, let them know, tell me what your vision is. Let me put a proposal together for you instead of saying it's, over the phone without seeing the venue. You're not understanding all the upgrades you want, right?
Right.
So I like to always say, let's do something that is going to actualize that day. And this is what that's going to cost versus setting themselves up for failure or setting them up, say, hey, it's only going to cost you $20,000, but their vision is $35,000. And then they get frustrated through the process and then they feel like they were either taken advantage or lied to. And I've heard so many stories. That's kind of like how we met in a way, right? Your client was having a situation. She came over and then I went through everything with her and, that's a whole nother story, but she was stuck in her contract. But I do get a lot of clients like that will say, I went somewhere else and they didn't tell me this, and that. And so I just choose to just run the business that I operate in a very, open and honest way so that these people have the knowledge that they probably wouldn't have unless they got married or has someone in the business that would be able to guide them.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. So if people are interested in booking the Waterstone, where can they find you? What's the best way?
They can find me by dialing the hotel. My direct line is 561-226-3108. or they can email me. It's J Capozzi, so JCAPOZZI at waterstoneboca.com. Or you can find us on Instagram at Waterstone Boca. Or you can go to waterstoneboca.com and look under weddings, and there'll be an inquiry form, and you can request it that way as well.
Very nice. And I'll throw this at you. How far in advance, roughly? I know it probably totally depends, but like roughly, people ask all the time, like, well, when do I need to start looking for a venue?
To be honest, I think every venue is different. I would say what I'm seeing now, I think post-COVID, the world's a little different. I think people are booking a lot more short-term. But I would say I'm seeing as little as 3 months and as much as 16 months out.
Okay.
16 months out for the larger ones, but I'm doing micro weddings 3 to 6 months out. And when I say that, I'm saying like 25 to 60 people.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Well, thank you for joining me. This was great information. And for people local, go check out the Waterstone. Thank you for joining.
Thanks for having me, Sydney. It was a pleasure.